Assalamu alaikum, dear student. I hope you will be fine and doing well. Research process module 2. As you know that we have already started our orientations of research process module 2. Today we will discuss the scientific research design step 1. Scientific research design is a 6 steps of the research process for basic and applied research. That one is a whole work frame and process of scientific research design. From yellow arrow we will start the first steps of scientific research design. Today our first steps of scientific research design is purpose of the study. In purpose of study we discuss exploration study, descriptive study and hypothesis studies. The purpose of the study mean we have further divide in 3 parts. One is exploratory study, descriptive study and hypothesis testing study. The purpose of a study basically define your directions and your purpose and importance of your research. Exploratory study is undertaken when not much is known about the situation at hand, or no information is available on how similar problem or research issues have been solved in the past. In such cases, extensive preliminary work needs to be done to gain the familiarity with the phenomena in the situation and understand what is occurring before we develop the model and set a rigorous design for comprehensive investigation. Most probably, explorative study is conducted by the research when the informations are not be available for solution of the similar problem. Exploratory studies can be done by interviewing individuals and through focus group. The types of the exploratory research: depth interviews, case analysis, focus group and literature search. We take the example of the exploratory research. In a sense, exploratory studies are undertaking to better comprehend the nature of the problem, since very few studies might have been conducted in that area. Extensive interviews with many people might have to be undertaken to get a handle on the situation and understand the phenomena. More rigorous research could then proceed toward the exploratory research. The second is descriptive study. Descriptive study is undertaken in order to ascertain and be able to describe the characteristics of the variable of interest in the situation. As you know that before setting a framework and in the research process we already identify the problem and situations of the problem. But in the descriptive study we take a certain characteristics of the variable of interest in some particular situations of the problem. In descriptive study, for instance, a study of the class in terms of percentage of the members who are in their seniors and juniors, sex compositions and groupings, numbers of semesters left until graduations and number of business courses taken, can be considered as a descriptive in nature. Descriptive studies are also undertaken to understand the characteristics of organization that follow certain common practices, and mostly time that will be occurring descriptive studies where we needed a research needed to undertaking and understand the characteristics of some particulars research of problems and identify the problem and solution of the problem some in specific particulars organization that follow a certain common practices. For example, we take the example of the descriptive study. A bank manager want to have a profile of individuals who have loan pay outstanding for 6 months and more. It would be include detail of their purpose of study, average age, earnings, nature of occupation, full-time, part-time, employment status and like that. If the bank managers are want to investigate, take the help from descriptive study. This might help him to elicit further informations or decide right way on the types of individuals who should be made ineligible for the loan in the futures. If they can collect the information about that particular individuals and take some descriptive way of investigations and conduct a study, that is called a descriptive study. Hypothesis testing study. Studies that engage in hypothesis testing usually explain the nature of certain relationships or establish the differences among groups or the independence of two or more factors in situation. Hypothesis testing is undertaken to explain the variance in dependent variables or predict organizations outcomes. Basically, mostly problem when occurring in the organizations, in the firms, in the companies. The two variable based factor will be studies regarding to the relationship between two variables and factors or to predict the organization's outcomes and the problems in the organizations and those factors which are play a effective role for generation of the problem in the organizations. And after we find out a relationship between two variables, two factors, we will predict some result for the futures on the basis of hypothesis. Examples of the hypothesis testing is a marketing manager wants to know if the sales of the company will increase if he doubles the advertising the dollars. Here managers would like to know the natures of relationship that can be established between advertising and sales by testing by the hypothesis. You know that here is the two variables. Advertising is one factor and increase of sales is your interest variables, interest factors. When the researchers or managers are like to find out the relationship between advertisement, if you conduct more advertisement, the prediction is that is for the future, maybe the organization, the company earning more sales and increase more toward more sales. If the advertising is increased, then sale will also go up. That is the hypothesis which have we testing between two factor variable is independent factor variables and dependent factor, which is one is our interest variable. For example, the sale is our interest variable. And when we find the relationship between two variables, the statement of relationship between the two variables, we definitely conduct the hypothesis testing. Thank you for your watching today lectures regarding to purpose of the studies, and we discussed in the purpose of study exploratory study, descriptive study, and hypothesis testing study. Now come to the some suggestions, my suggestions, and some future suggestions, and watch what we watch in the next hour videos regarding to scientific research design. Before go to the next steps, I will be suggest to you, please you watch our videos and listen our lecture, orientation based lecture about the scientific research design. What is the scientific research design? After that you will be able to a understanding for a scientific research design step 1. Inshallah, in the next video we will be discuss the step 2 of the scientific research design. Keep in touch with our channels, Innovative Solution Group. Basically, Innovative Solution Group is provide a series of videos and lecture on research process, on scientific research design. Our current module is regarding to the scientific research process, and inshallah we will be continue this module step by step. And take care. Allah Hafiz.